guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Camille. Thank you so much for joining me, and for all the persons who are my regulars, thank you so much for continuing with me. And if you're new, again, thank you, and please go ahead and hit the subscription button and that little notification bell so you can know every time I do an upload. So this is part 3 of my whole moving series. All right, so first one, I told you why I wanted to move. And then the next one, I shared what I look for, which was mostly somewhere where the economy was growing or that potential, and also the demography of the area. So those were my 2 most important points for that. Now this series really about finding somewhere to live and the moving process itself, the steps I took. Now, I used a number of apartment websites when I started my search. I use apartment.com, I use renters.com, I used Hotpad. I use all of these because, of course, the information was just readily available on them, and they gave really good information. You can also do things like search for cheap apartments in your area, things of that nature. Now, I use apartment.com because I like the fact that it ranked the schools, and it kind of showed the schools that were zoned for the area. So I like that. So it took the guesswork out for me. So if I didn't like a particular school or so, I know that apartment was not for me. So I really, really liked apartment.com for that. And ultimately, that was the one I used to choose where I'm currently living. Now, the thing is, there are a lot of different options when it comes to renting. Now, let me tell you, if your credit is not the greatest, okay, moving to a less populous area is a good option for you. I'm sorry, because a lot of these places are not so hard and fast about a credit number. Coming from Philadelphia and the Northeast, they want you to have a 600 or 700 or 650 credit for you to even apply. And even with that 650 credit, you still need to pay 3, 4, 5 months deposit depending on where you're going to live. Where I currently live, fortunately, that was not the case, and I realized it's the case. This is the situation for majority of the apartments. Once it's not in a big metropolitan area, those on the outside, all they want is you should earn 2.5 to 3 times the rent, and also you have to earn 2.5 to 3 times the rent, and also be able to, to show your credit history. Now, your credit history, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. They just want to know that you don't owe the whole world a bunch of money, and that will determine what your deposit is. So most places the deposit might start at $150 or $100, which is awesome if you have great credit, but it goes up to 1 or 2 times your rent depending on how badly your credit score is. But usually there is some concession. You don't necessarily get totally rejected because of your credit. I think that is just awesome, right? So that is one of the good things about living in a not so popular area, right? Now, if you are someone whose credit is really bad, what I would suggest is don't use the apartment website only. Use either a Hotpad, yeah. And the reason for that is those sites tend to have more owners. And with an owner, you can sometimes talk to somebody. You can explain your situation to them, and they're, a little bit more flexible. You can say, okay, I know my credit is not great. I can pay an extra month rent to be able to move in, to act as a deposit, a security deposit for you. And a lot of them, they understand, they're willing to work with you. Just make sure you don't do anything to jeopardize the trust. But they're willing to work with you. So that's what I would suggest that you do. Options are there, all right? No, in terms of if you're going to say, oh, but I don't have a job, what am I going to do? This is what you're going to do. most of these places are willing to take your current job. They don't necessarily need the person. You don't have to have a job in the area. You know, as I said, I was fortunate. I had a remote job, but the job doesn't have to be in the area. So if where you were before, you had a job and that job would have qualified you, you can use those pay stub as well. No, that is why it was important for me to find some, make sure that I was able to find a job if I needed it in a timely manner so that I could pay my bills, right? Because that's the thing. If you don't have a job, you won't be able to pay your bills. You won't be able to pay your rent. So if you want to use your old salary information from your previous job to secure your apartment, go ahead and do it once you're making enough money. Just make sure that when you come, if you don't have a big saving amount, you know, you don't have a good $5,000-$10,000 saved. Most of us do not have that amount. You want to make sure that you have there are jobs available for you. And let me tell you right now, in the economy, there are jobs. You hear people talking about the recession, and there are jobs there. You understand? I find as a mother, the biggest challenge is, of course, depending on the industry, those late hours just not working for me, because daycare closes at 6 o'clock. So if daycare closes at 6 o'clock, my time is cut off is at least 5:30. You know what I mean? But if you're a single person who don't have that restriction, go ahead, come and do it. You're able to. So that's what I did. I used apartment.com to find my place. I like it so far. I have no problem with it. And I've been here a few months, so that's good. And people will say, oh, you have to be careful because sometimes they catfish you. They give you all these beautiful looking places, and when you actually come, the place is a dump. That's true. But I must say I have been blessed. Where I live is just as nice as a picture. It's really nice. I've had no problem. Just do your research. Don't just look at the reviews, because only people who are upset complain. But if you're going to look at the reviews, go back. You know what I mean? And some things are just the area. Like they'll tell you, if you live in Arizona, you're going to have cockroaches or bugs because of the heat. It's so hot outside, they're going to come inside. You know what I mean? And like, I am here, I'm in Georgia, and we have spiders. So if you're afraid of spiders, this might be an issue. But I have these teeny tiny spiders that are more of a nuisance than really a problem. Yeah? So that is something to look into, right? So do your research, look at what people are saying. Look at the school district, go on the map. Try to use Google Map and bring up the place and see what the environment is like, if you decide that you want to live in an area, or you found an apartment in a particular part of the city, see if you can go on YouTube, or see if there's any, put that area in Google and see what comes up. If all you're seeing is police report and this crime and that crime, that might be a red flag. Yeah, but take those into consideration. Some people will say you should try to visit the place. If you're moving with limited budget, you don't have that, right? We don't all have that extra $1,000 to spend to just, take the plane to go to wherever it is and spend 2 nights in a hotel and check some apartments and come back. It sounds all nice on theory, but let's practically know. We cannot all afford that, okay? So that's what I would suggest you do. Find a place. And also remember, apartment websites have reviews, like the apartment.com and stuff, but also Google have reviews as well. So there are multiple places to find reviews for these places. Okay, now just quickly talking about how I moved. When I decided to come, as usual, it's so easy to accumulate stuff. So I had a whole house of stuff. And a lot of the things just did not, honestly, they were not worth it for me to move with them. Like I told my friend, you know, this time around when I'm moving, it's gonna cost me a bit more because now I feel like I have investment pieces that I definitely like and would want to carry on with me. Majority of the stuff I had before, to me, they were not worth it, right? So I gave them away. I gave them to Goodwill. I sold what I could. I got rid of as many things as I could. Of course, I still had a whole lot of stuff, clothes and just important stuff. You know what I mean? So what I did, I started looking at some of the moving trucks. They're so expensive, but I found this really expensive way. There is this company called Luggage to Go, where they don't ship furniture, but they'll ship anything that can fit in a box, but not furniture, right? And they have like a weight limit. I use them to ship just about all my stuff, and I was able to send like 10 boxes, 5 suitcases. I only took the plane with just 1 suitcase, 1 check-on and 1 carry-on, and my son. It was so easy. I sent everything because I had no intention of struggling and also I flew down. You have the option of driving depending on how far away you are, or taking the plane. I chose to take the plane. I'm happy I did. And it was so easy to just navigate all of that stuff. So that's something you can do. If you are somebody who already have nice pieces that you don't really want to get rid of, and I mean, think about the cost. It cost, when I was moving, it was just about to approach the beginning of summer. And the distance, it would have cost maybe like 1,300, 1,500 to move. See if the things that you're going to be bringing will be worth that money. Seriously. Because if you have some stuff in your house where honestly, if you're to value them, it might be like $1,000. Is it really and truly worth paying $1,300 to carry some old stuff for $1,000? No, like you're going to be spending $2,500 in estate. You're going to be spending that $1,000. You could buy them again, and you could buy nicer things. I could just take your time and get, you know, more investment pieces. That makes sense. That's what I think. So anyway, I know this is taking so much long. I had no idea the video would have taken so long. That was not my intention. But again, just a quick recap, you know, when you're moving, you decide to go, just go. Just do your research before you go. Don't just pick up yourself and go. And then, because I know for a lot of people, myself included, you don't want to have to go back to where you're coming from. So there's always that hesitation of, oh my God, suppose I go and suppose I make a mistake and suppose it's not the best for me and suppose I don't make it because I've been so reliant on whoever I've been relying on all these years. You know, it could be a family member, it could be a spouse, an ex-spouse, whatever it is, you've been so reliant and you're so fearful of moving. I just want to say, trust yourself, do your research and go. The resources are there. You can start over. You can do it. All right. So again, once I made up my mind, I started researching. As I said, I looked in the economy. I looked at the demography, that was important to me. Then I decided to see how I was going to move. I started using apartment.com and those places and those other websites, and then how I was going to get my stuff down. And that was it. Yeah. Oh, and one quick reminder or quick step. Yeah, I forgot. The money aspect. Now, people will say, oh, you need to have like $5,000 or $10,000 to move comfortably. And I don't know about you, but if I had $10,000 like that, I would probably not be doing this kind of research on YouTube. I'll be okay. I'll be ready to move. I would have it. So if you're looking on my video any at all, you're probably in my situation where you might have a little money, but you don't have all that much, and you want to see how you can spread it as thin as possible to get as much as you can get. Yeah. So what you're going to do first, the most expensive part of your trip is going to be the apartment and the transportation to get to the place, right? Because we're not going to factor the moving stuff. Because either you leave them where you are, you dump them, you put them in storage if you can't carry them now until you're in a better position. So don't be afraid to move because I don't have enough money. I only have $3,000. Think of it, you're not planning to go there, you're not going on vacation. You're going to try to get a job to live, you know? And as I said, if it's McDonald's, if it's Waffle House, if it's, I don't know, Carl Jr., I don't know, the different fast food franchises around the country, but you know what I mean. The aim is to get a job. So you just want to be able to have enough money so that you and your family can be, you know, safe and somewhat comfortable. Get an air mattress. You can have an air mattress for the first month. I did. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I didn't want to invest in a bunch of furniture, and I wasn't sure if this was the place for me, you know? So get yourself an air mattress or two, and let me tell you, children don't care what you have. They just want to know that they have you. So you have your air mattress, you have your kids, you have yourself. Listen, you're good to go. All right, so good luck. Please, if you decide to do it, go ahead and do it. If you have any questions, just send me a message. I'll be more than happy to give you any advice I have. And again, thank you so much for watching my video. Again, stay tuned for my next upload. Okay, bye. Thank you.